Come on, you two. You need to hurry. You can't take everything, only what you need. The levels are rising. The glow winds are getting nearer to the settlement.
Oh, we'll be there in a minute. Is Owen back?
Yes, I think that's a yes. Oh, I'm going to miss you, Owen. No, I can't go. You'll be fine. You'll find a safe place for Miriam and Topsie. And who knows, there might still be others. Yes, Owen, I did pack your father's threads. I did. I don't know what's on them. I've only heard the stories that your father and mother told when they first found us, when they brought you here from across the desert of glass. Your father was so sick by the time he found us, and he died so soon after. And your mother? I only know what they told us. Look, everything is in his box there. His threads and his drawings. Here, Owen, his maps. He drew these while you were crossing the desert so many years ago. He said it took 6 moon cycles to find us from this place here, your old home. The desert may have changed a great deal in all the time you and your sister have been with me. Topsie, is everything all right? You need some help with little Miriam? Owen, you have to be patient. Topsie has Miriam to take care of now.
No, I'm fine. She's just fussy. I think she knows we're leaving. Diane, we don't really have to go.
Yes, you do. There's no way to be sure you can survive these glow winds, and you need to find safety to keep our family, our history alive.
Oh, Owen, we'll try. We'll follow the maps if we can, but there's no way to know if we can find the old place. Yes, and Father's machine so you can play his thread. Tape. Yes, that's right. He used to call it tape.
You have to go now. I'm not sure how soon the winds will be here. Oh, little girl, I will miss seeing you grow up. You remind me so of your mother when she was young, when she first came to me. Little one, stay safe.
Diane, are you sure you won't try to make the trip with us?
I would only slow you down. No one knows what's out beyond the settlement. You may be fine, or you and Owen are still strong, and you have Miriam to think about.
Yes, my little girl. I am here. Owen, let's go before the winds get stronger. Thank you for taking care of us all of these years. Thank you for being our mother when... Oh, I love you so.
I love you. All of you. We've been a family for so long. You were both so little when your dad died and your mom got sick. I never thought I'd have to send you away. Oh, Owen, I will miss you. Be well. Find safety. Go.
I can't remember, Owen. I told you they all look the same to me. It's a cave. A cave like this one, like all the other ones we've been to. Look, it's late. I'm tired. Miriam is so heavy. We'll rest here tonight. We can start again tomorrow when the light comes up. I guess it does look sort of like Father's drawings, but I don't think... Oh, where's the lantern? It's pitch black in here. Did you put it back in the bag? Oh, let's just make camp for tonight, okay? We'll talk about the tapes tomorrow. I wonder if the batteries have any charge left. Since the glow winds have begun to die down, the radiation levels haven't been strong enough to charge them all the way. Here it is. Yes, food would be good. Sounds like Miriam is ready for some dinner. If I could just get this lamp to work. Maybe there's more of a charge over here by the wall. damn lamp. Please, just work. Oh, thank God. Shush, I can't think. I don't know. What? Well, I don't think it is. Oh, God. You're right. Owen, you're right. Oh, my God. This is the cave. We're home. Oh, we're home. Look. Oh, look, Mother's old rocker. I remember how she... Oh, we're home. We're home. You found it. You found it. Oh, Miriam. This is where your uncle and I were born. This is it. All those years, Owen, believing that someday... Oh, it can wait until tomorrow. It's late. Let's get a good night's rest, and then we can start looking tomorrow. I don't know if it's still here. I was too little. I don't remember where he kept it, and it was too heavy when we left. Mother said we had to leave it behind. Owen, what are you doing now? Get off the floor. I don't think it's under there. What the... what is it? Oh, wait. Yes. Yes, that's it. Oh, bring it over here. Can we plug it into the battery? Is there enough juice? How does this thread go? Like this, I think. No, this way. That's right. That's right, Owen. Oh, look, it's going on. The lights are on. Oh, no. No, that's backwards. Maybe it goes this way. Yes, that looks better. Oh, Miriam, this is your grandfather, Lazarus.
Hello, test. 1, 2, 3. Is this thing working? Hello? Hello?
Is the meter broken, Lazarus?
I don't know, maybe it's twitching. You got it to work last time. I mean, you remember how?
Sure, just give it a whack on the side. Like this.
Oh, that did it. Meter's all over the place now. 1, 2, 1.
I'm going to the garden for some vegetables. Keep an eye on the kids. And don't use too much power, love.
I won't, kitten. You keep an eye out for the glow-ins.
As always.
I don't know. I don't know why I'm recording this. Maybe it's for you kids. Maybe it's something you'll listen to down the road. I mean, first, it's a warning. It's something you have to know to survive. And then maybe, who knows, it'll be a diary. I mean, better yet, a history of who we are and where we are and what came before. And maybe it's for me to convince myself that we have a future. Owen, Topsie, I'm your father. Your mother, Evie, calls me Lazarus, but I don't think that's my real name. It may be. She calls me Lazarus because she says one day I came to her out of the glass desert, because I remember the world before the fall, and she was born after. What's wrong, Topsie? Wait a minute. We'll have to remember not to leave this thing running. That was you, Topsie, with a wet diaper. Right. Evie, your mother, is 20 now, I guess, and I'm, maybe 50, maybe older. Now that there are no clocks or calendars, it's hard to judge time. Calendars wouldn't mean anything anyway. I hope when you're old enough to understand this, I'll still be around to tell you myself. That'd be nice. But people don't live so long these days, and sometimes I think the rash is forming and my hair is falling out. Actually, I'm probably just getting bald. Most people used to have hair in their heads. I want you to know how things were once. About time and calendars and hair and how beautiful the world was when it was blue and filled with white clouds and birds and the warm smell of mown grass. Damn. Well, that's for another time. What I got to tell you about is that thing. The thing that's kept us moving all these years. I know it sounds funny, kids, but your mother and I have crossed the glass desert and the wild lands just to keep out of the way of something we've never seen. God damn it. Sorry. I don't want to catch you using words like that. It's grown-up talk. I didn't really believe it existed until a couple of weeks ago, and I'm still not sure. But if it is real, if it does exist, you have to know what it is and how important it is that you keep away from it, because...
Lazarus, there's a glow wind coming. We'd better go down below. You get Topsy. Owen, wake up. I'm sorry I frightened you, dear.
Topsy, love, shh. Does it look like it'll hit?
It's hard to...
It was stupid of me to leave the tape here. If the glow wind had hit it, it would have scrambled. Well, no problem.
The coals burned out while we were down below. Now everything's going to be underdone.
And no matter, we'll still eat. I'll be down in a minute. I was telling you about the thing that's driven your mother and I, the thing we've never seen, the thing the scientist told us about. He was the one who...
Come help with supper, Laz.
More later. Oh, power was low. Had to set up the windmill and charge the batteries. Maybe you kids will be able to figure out how to get electricity out of a glow wind. I should explain. I don't know what its real name...
The family always called them glow winds. That's what they are. We named them.
Yes. Yes, you did. It's a good name. The scientists said glow winds were ionized masses of air, highly radioactive. Not a cloud, really. He couldn't explain why they don't dissipate, fall apart. Not that it really matters. You can see them coming across the glass desert, their shapes shifting and billowing, shimmering, confused ghosts. We go below until the radiation counter stops clicking.
I think you've wakened Owen.
Oh, I'm sorry. I should stop.
No. I've gotten to love that sound. What did you call it?
A party siren? Dime store whistle?
Party siren. When he blew on it the first time, remember how he smiled? It was the first sound you ever made. Wasn't it, little Owen? And your daddy says it proves you're not artistic.
Autistic, Evie. Should I continue recording?
Of course. Shh. Owen, go to sleep.
I'm really disorganized, so I made some notes. I can't do this off the top of my head. Let me call this the second recording. The other one was the first. Organization. Okay, I'll tell you who we are and what we are and where we came from and what I think we are. Why, this is definitely not working.
Laz, dear, pretend it's what do you call them? Damn darn papers.
Term paper. Damn term papers.
Whatever.
You have a point. Kids, children, young lady and gentlemen, I was born in 1995, and I'm 50-something now. This is the year 2045 by the Christian calendar, I think. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it is. I don't know what month it is, but that doesn't matter because there are no seasons. The place I was born doesn't matter either because it doesn't exist anymore. A place called Long Island, way off to the east somewhere, which doesn't matter because east doesn't exist either, along with north and south and west. Anyway, the war started in an ancient country once called Mesopotamia, the cradle of civilization. That's a laugh. It became the coffin of civilization. I was 20 in 2015. It ended the moment it began, but everything else was changed. We had a war because the world ran out of oil, a smelly, toxic black stuff used to provide energy. And we wasted or burned billions of tons of the stuff to get control of the little that was left in the ground. How do I explain any of this, Evie?
How do you explain the death of my family? Go on.
Anyway, when the ICBMs and the MIRVs were finished, should I explain them?
How? They don't matter, Lazarus. Go on.
When they stopped falling, there wasn't much left of the world. There used to be so many animals. Birds, cats, dogs, insects, lions and tigers and bears and, oh my. We used to number in the billions. And now your mother and I haven't seen another living soul in...
At least 5 growing periods. Except for the scientist.
Now, he said there were others beyond the horizon, but we haven't seen them.
He said we might. That they'd be driven by the thing. if it comes this way.
Anyway, I survived the war. Doesn't matter how, I just did. I wandered a good deal after, tried to get home, found it wasn't there anymore. I was afraid No, I wasn't afraid I'd die. I was afraid I wouldn't. Mostly, I was lonely. I had a dog for a while, but it died after all its fur fell out. I guess it did die. When the pain got too great, it ran away from me. I couldn't help. I wanted to. Then, there was a woman after that, but the same thing happened. She asked me to kill her, but I ran away. It's kind of blank after that.
Let me, Laz. I first met your father when I was, 14 growing seasons? It was right after my first blood. He came walking to me out of the desert of glass. The family was amazed. Nothing living had ever come out of there before. Some wanted to kill him. Some said he was a devil. But some said he was a god. Sometimes there isn't a clear difference. It was very confusing. My mother was the healer, and she knew how to make the grains grow. She saved you. No one would go against her.
Oh, I remember her. She nursed me, fed me. I've often wondered why there was so little food.
For me, Lazarus. For me. The family took good care of me. I was the only child there was. They said I was almost normal. And with luck, not sterile. I could be Eve, my mother said, but there was no Adam. Until you came.
I see.
While she was nursing you, she told me you'd be a good... what did she call it? Stud?
Are you sure that's what she said?
I think so. Why is your face all red?
Turn the tape off for a minute.
Lazarus, she was right.
Now, where were we? Move the mic a little.
We lived. The growing times came and went. I think we were happy, even though you had no memory. My mother named you Lazarus after some person from a book, and we loved each other.
And then the glowwinds came.
During the last harvest. The family was in the fields, in the open. Some died quickly, the lucky ones.
Your grandmother, children, was one hell of a woman. She gave your mother and I food and sent us away. She was crying and laughing when she said she was banishing us from Eden.
I didn't understand then.
She would follow us, she said, when she'd raised a stone over the last of the family.
And we were to find new fields.
Greener pastures.
To plant for the future.
We should have stayed with her.
We've been over this before, Laz. The fields were barren, glowwind burned. It was her time. The family was gone. There was only food for 2, and that barely enough. We almost died too, remember?
We just didn't do things like that. Before.
No, dear. You just destroyed a world. Shall we stop?
No. Go on.
We wandered here and there, through the wild lands, looking for some sheltered place where we could grow food and be safe from the glowwinds. We were almost starving when we found a little place, a green and quiet place with clean water and a lonely old man who...
made passes at you.
Oh, nonsense. He liked to pat my head, and that's all he ever did. He said I reminded him of a pet he'd had, a cat.
Huh.
I think I saw one once when I was young. It was pretty and graceful and had eyes almost like mine. I was flattered you were silly.
Yeah, well, anyway, he took us into the Deadlands, north of his valley, and showed us this huge rut in the ground, so straight and deep that it could have been taken for a dry canal that stretched out to the crack of doom, with what looked like shallow well holes on either side of it.
And he told us about the thing that made it, the thing he called the wheel.
Yeah, the power's going down again, Evie. We'll have to shut.
This is the 3rd recording made 2 sleep periods after the last, the 2nd. We'd left off with the old man, and the first time we'd heard about it, the wheel, he was never very clear about what it was. He rambled about shadows into it. What was it?
The sound of lightning or waves or something like that. It made no sense to me. His mind was gone, poor old man.
He said it was the manifestation of the word of the new gods, the gods who hated all life which was filth. The wheel was their creation to end creation. Now, he was raving by then, but what he said was enough to be frightening. We lived there with him 3 or 4 growing seasons, I guess. It was after he died that we thought we first heard it. Sounds like high-tension electrical lines arcing in the distance.
It sounded, Owen and Topsie, like the sounds your daddy makes when he's fixing the power units and the blue sparks hiss and crackle. But it was much bigger. And it felt like there were glow winds in my brain, and my mind hurt.
So, not knowing what it was, only what it might be, we gathered food and what few things we'd need, and we ran away.
Oh, it was such a green place, between hills that kept back the glow winds.
We didn't know what direction the thing came from, so we avoided that strange canal with its fringe of pits and headed out into the desert of glass.
You cannot imagine, children, a complete absence of life until you see the desert of glass. Although your father tells me I am wrong, I do not believe there ever was life in the desert of glass.
It was ground zero, Evie. I've explained that.
I'm sorry, Lazarus. You've explained many things about your world. I've tried to understand, but I cannot.
Never mind, Ev. We're just not from the same place, that's all.
In its own way, the desert of glass is beautiful. What are not beautiful, children, are the Deadlands. They are not beautiful, and they frighten me more than anything. Because you can see that something even worse than the glow winds have been there. Deadlands are horrible shadow places where all things are frozen in place and sucked dry of color and warmth and life. There was grass, each blade distinct, and flowers, petals perfect in every detail, but gray, the color of rotten stone and dead hopes. I remember on one there was a butterfly, tensed to fly, so real it seemed to want only a kiss or a drop of water to give it color and flight. I touched it, and it disappeared, like a dream fading into dawn, a memory dissolving into time. There is only fear in the Deadlands, children, and shadows of life cast in dust.
Always bordering the long canal fringed with pits.
Oh, I hate them.
The Deadlands, children, survived the initial phases of war. Life continued to bloom in them long after the deserts of glass were formed by the primal heat of the nuclear explosions, but it was something else that made the Deadlands. The wheel. It came long after the war was over and mankind had slipped into oblivion. It was something we'd never seen.
We did, though, once. It was what kept us in the desert of glass. There were the flashes beyond the hills. It was as if...
The sky cracked like a cold purple bowl, and I thought...
There were razor slashes in the warm sky carpet.
I could suddenly see beyond the sky.
The warm cover was gone, and I was naked.
Into hell.
Under the sound of whips.
But for a moment, I thought I saw the stars.
I knew if I saw beyond the sky, I would go mad.
Even in the distant memory, it seems to inspire...
our differences. A glow wind. It's moving fast. I'll get the children's case.
Hit us direct. The needles aren't moving. Damn it. Evie, patch this thing.
I really don't know why you... Can't fix it, Laz.
It's your loving touch, dear. Those extra fingers provide just the right...
Oh, nonsense. It's just that you've got too few. I don't know if the machine is fixed, but we have wakened Topsie.
I worry, Evie. She sleeps too much. It worries me. Where's Owen? I haven't heard his whistle.
I sent him out behind the fortress to gather some vegetables. And he likes to play in the green, to lie in the grass.
Well, best name for it, I suppose. He won't wander?
You know he always follows the string. Ever since he got his dime store whistle, he's been more careful about falling. He's afraid he'll lose it. You're wasting power.
You're right, sorry. The last glow wind hit us directly. Thank God the fortress, the cliff we live in, deflected it from the garden. I should say something about this place. Home. I don't know if you'll ever see it, Owen. And we don't know, Topsie, if you can either. Your eyes are strange to both your mother and I. But perhaps... We call it the fortress because that's what it looks like. An escarpment with arms curving around the garden valley, almost like the band of a ring. In the center, a sheer rock wall, a massive rectangle of obsidian juts into the desert of glass, almost like a chin that says, "Come on, you bum, hit me." Well, that's where we live, in rooms with walls smooth as glass, partially hollowed by the final fires. We face onto the glass desert, which is hard to describe. I find it much less attractive than your mother does. Evie, you're better at this.
Bring the machine to the door. It's easier if I look out.
Okay.
The desert of glass, children, is black. Your father has told me that it was once a rolling field of a plant called wheat, which was golden in the
Sunlight.
Yes, the sunlight. Like our garden valley, the fields were countless millions of grains of dark earth. Now it is a seemingly endless black mirror that gleams in the soft glow of our day. The desert of glass rolls in gentle undulation to the far horizon. It is very sweet and smooth and peaceful. In the wind, the desert flickers, catching here and there the soft purple and violet and green and orange lights from the sky. Nothing lives in the desert, but the desert is alive. When the wind sweeps in from the warm orange horizon, which rings the world, it drives little bits of the broken desert before it. That is why some of the younger members of the family called the desert of glass the land of chimes. But your father does not like that name, so I rarely use it. But listen. It is the sound of the desert singing. And deep beneath the chimes, the desert shatters, and shimmering dark crystals fly into the sky like swarms of fireflies or fairies dancing in the day-glow. But you don't see it like that, do you, Laz?
No.
The children should know what you see, too. How the world is different than it was in the before.
The sky, children, is a purple bowl set over the dry black skull of the world. And from purple it shades to violet, and from violet to red, and from red to the dull and dead orange of a winter's sunset, veiled in pollution. And it is that band of orange which rests on the glass desert, and which is all the horizon we have in this poor, dying world. Currents of cutting shards of glass swirl with the wind across the desert's floor, and black geysers explode upward as the ground settles and the earth trembles in her long sleep.
Do you hate it so, Lazarus?
Hate it? The black and purple of a world in mourning? Of course I hate it, don't you?
It is the only world I've ever known. The only one our children will ever know. If we do not see it as beautiful, what do we have left? I love you and am sorry for you. You have lived too long.
I'm going inside. That's enough recording for today. This is the fifth recording. I forgot to number the last. It is... Owen? Owen? What is it?
Lazarus! Owen, what's wrong?
Is it a glow-in?
Owen, don't run!
He wants us to follow him to the garden.
Most wonderful thing has happened today, and I must tell you about it, children. And I am sure that when you hear this in later years, Owen, you will laugh at your first fears. You must not be frightened of them. Your father says that you will never see them, not as we do. But I know you will learn to warm to their touch, their soft, warm fur and quick bodies. Your father's outside now, coaxing them into a little home he has built for them, behind the wall of the fortress. Owen, You found them, or rather they found you while you were out playing in the garden. When we followed you out, I was so frightened. I didn't know what... Well, there they were, digging for roots. When they saw your father and me, they just stopped and sat there on their hind legs and their little paws crossed on their chests and... Well, they just looked at us, just as nice as you please. I was quite startled. I'd never seen such things before. And then the littlest one, a baby, I guess, scampered up to me and let me pet it. They have long, bushy tails, little ears, and the biggest brown eyes. Oh, your father says they are little animals, which used to be very common in the before. He called them, what did you call them, dear?
Squirrels. Evie, they're squirrels. Why, we used to have thousands, millions of them. They used to eat nuts, live in trees. I don't know how they survived. There haven't been any trees since, well, even before then. What a surprise. I put them in a sheltered place behind the fortress, out of the way of the glowwinds, near the garden. Well, I guess we'll eat a couple of less carrots, but think of it, Evie. Squirrels. And one of them's a kit. You know what that means? They're not sterile. They can reproduce true to their kind, so there'll be more. And someday, when the trees come back, our grandchildren will be able to... Our grandchildren.
What's the matter?
Nothing. Nothing, Evie.
You were looking at my hands. My 12 fingers.
No, I wasn't. I was just...
And now my eyes. My amber-slitted eyes, my cat's eyes, isn't that what you called them?
Evie, I didn't mean...
If the squirrels can breed true, why can't we? Or is it, why can't I?
No, Evie, you are perfect. You are what you are.
What am I, Lazarus? What am I? I'd better go feed the kids.
No. That didn't come out right. Evie, I love you. You are the most beautiful woman I know. I just meant that women before were...
Normal? Is that it, Lazarus? 10 fingers, 10 toes, round eyes. Normal? Did you do so well?
We did as well as we could.
Look out that door. To that place you hate. Is that as well as you can do?
This is later, part of the 5th. Evie and I have had our first fight. After many years, men and women used to fight all the time. Maybe the world is returning to normal. It was wrong, kids. Evie, what I thought, what went through my mind, it was seeing the squirrels that brought back the past, what used to be normal. And for a moment I saw Evie, your mother, whom I do dearly love for what she is. I saw her as I might have seen her 20 years, a century ago. Her 6-fingered hands, her amber eyes. For a moment I saw her as a freak, what we used to call someone who deviated from the norm. But there really is no norm anymore. Your mother, you two, me, we're all just another variety now. The squirrels have taken up in the nest I built them, moved in lock, stock, and bedding straw. They're very tame. They've no fear of us anymore. I offer them carrots, and they sit on their hind legs and look at me with their great, solemn brown eyes. They seem to ask, "Why have you done this?" Something is happening. This is the 6th recording, 3 sleep periods after the squirrels came. An old saying fits here. It was the best of times, it was the worst of times. First, the best of times. The squirrels came visiting, and one of them, the female, I think, hopped into your crib, Topsie. We thought you'd be frightened, an unseen, unknown thing in your bed. Well, little girl, you turned your head, reached out, and took the animal into your arms. It showed your mother and I something, well, you already know. You're not blind. You can see with those opalescent eyes, which are very pretty, but very strange, even to your mother. Which brings me to the worst of times. Evie has had nightmares, what she calls glowwinds in her brain. She says there's something far off in the glass desert, below the horizon. I can't hear anything, but her hearing and sight are more sensitive than mine. She says the breaking of the glass crust is more intense, more rhythmic somehow. I don't know. She says I should include the recording we made of the scientist now because he talked about the wheel, the fear that's driven us for so long. I rummaged around in the junk down below where I found your whistle, Owen. And I found another beat-up old tape machine. It has the words K-Rock stenciled on it. We may be living in the remnants of an old radio station. That's a laugh. I'm going to play the tape of the scientists on that machine and record it through the microphone into this one. I hope you can understand it. Hold on while I work this out.
Lazarus, I should explain about the scientist children. We saw him 4 or 5 growing seasons ago, soon after we settled in the fortress. Soon after you were born, Owen. Before you were, Topsie. He came to us as your father came to me out of the desert of glass, almost dead from hunger. It was several days before he could talk. He was very old and thin. His hair was completely gray. And I thought he had the sickness one day when he ran his fingers through his hair and it all came off. It wasn't his hair. He called it a rug. A final affection.
Affectation.
Affectation from the days before. Is it ready, Laz?
Who knows? I don't know how far we can push the juice, but let's give it a shot.
Here, pop the microphone up on this cup.
Okay, here goes nothing. Oh, nuts. Hang on. Stop the tape.
Is it on?
It seems to be.
1, 2, 3.
The needle's moving.
I'm going to tell you about the wheel. It's the one thing on this lousy cinder of a planet you have left to fear. You can avoid the glow whatchamacallits.
The glow-ins.
Yeah, right. But if you see the wheel, if it sees you, you're dead. You got a radio?
A radio? There aren't any stations.
Well, they weren't worth listening to when there were. You got a radio.
No, I don't think so.
Well, this tape recorder will do. It'll tell you when the wheel is coming. You ever wonder why the sky is purple and you can't see the sun?
The sky? What the hell does that have to do with...
Shh, Laz, he's very old. His mind wanders.
Yeah, that's right.
Evie.
Yeah, Evie. Wanders. You got any more, what do you call it, the black stuff?
Chicory? The coffee?
Yeah. Makes it better, not bitter. You got any more?
Yeah, sure, old-timer.
I'll get some.
Now, tell me about the wheel.
The sky's the color purple because the dust the ICBM's kicked up. 100, 300, 500 blasts kicked up more dust than Krakatoa. It's all up there in the jet stream now. Sun can't get through it. That's why there's no winter anymore. Or seasons at all, really. Greenhouse effect balanced out the nuclear winter. Keeps the heat in. Screwed up a lot of fellas' theories. Lucky they're dead. The disappointment would have killed them. Thanks for the coffee, Evie. That's right. No more winters, no more sun, no more world. How far you figure we're from the coast?
Coast? To the east?
East? What's east? You got a compass that won't point to every radioactive pit? You got a sun you can see? East? I don't know from east any more than you do, boy. East. Dead reckoning. That way. That way.
I don't know.
Well, you said you were from Long Island.
Yeah, but...
Well, that was the coast, for God's sake.
What is the coast?
That's where the sea is. That's where the great Atlantic Ocean hisses on the beaches, and the surf and the rocks sing their ancient song.
Oh.
I was a marine biologist before the war, and the sea was my way of life. I want to see it again. I want to know if there's still life in it. We all came from the sea. It was the cradle of life once. I want to know if it will be again. I want to hear the surf on the shore. A long, low song.
You were going to tell us about the wheel.
The wheel was the last insane act of an insane world. It became the ultimate doomsday machine. It is the ultimate doomsday machine.
Power's down.
Damn.
I don't...
Now, this is a sleeping period later. Power's up enough. I hope to run both machines.
Oh, and children, the squirrels have paid us a social call. They came in and sniffed around, played and laughed. And Topsie, oh, how you laughed, you children.
Owen blew his whistle a lot.
Yes, he did. It's such a nice sound to hear you blow that whistle, Owen.
Here we go.
Is the ultimate doomsday machine. I don't know who built it, who had the idea that once it killed everything, we could go begin again, or which criminal nation let it loose on the world. Its function is simple, even if its engineering isn't. The wheel is a death machine. It was built as an unmanned robot to find all damaged life and kill it. So that, like the great lava spills at the beginning of time, the earth could be scorched clean. Clean from the nuclear holocaust, and in 3 or 5 or who knows how many generations, it could support new life. But it didn't work that way. The plan went wrong. I don't know if it was one country tried to take it over or it just malfunctioned. It was supposed to walk the earth once and die and leave the ashes for the future. Instead, it just keeps rolling over and over the earth, creating dust from dust. And if there was a way to shut it off, that knowledge died with its makers. It's powered by some kind of matter-antimatter system. And it kills anything that is alive. Plants, people, fungus, bacteria, virus, you name it. It sterilizes, leaving dusty gray husks, forms, shapes of what was. But there's nothing in them. Sucks the soul out. Where it goes now and how it's guided, no one knows. But where it's been, there's nothing. And it makes sure there never will be again.
The flickering lights we saw.
The ruts, the pits.
It kills with lasers of some kind. And it sees with them, too. I saw the wheel once. It didn't see me. Don't know why. The wheel is huge, maybe 500 feet tall, 200 wide, and black. So black it seems to suck up light so you can't see anything about it, except its eyes. That's what you watch for. What it watches you with, pinpoints of blue-white light at its center, like the pearly eyes of a black sea urchin. We shot the damn thing, we did. A bunch of us, scientists and other fools. We nailed it with a laser, and we hit it, too, far on its right side. We hit it. But it didn't do any good. And only I survived. The others were like terracotta statues. Sterile dust. What you see in the Deadlands. I've had better coffee.
Can I get you?
There's 2 ways you know it's coming. One is you hear it. But by then it's too late. The wheel's got mass totally out of proportion through its size, big as it is. It isn't a machine as we know or knew machines. It rolls around the planet, killing, and you can hear its lasers, like high-voltage electricity, arcing.
Lazarus, we heard, we saw...
But most of all, you can hear its thunder, its stabilizers, the flaw in its design. Coming at you, the wheel looks like a huge spider, because on each side are pistons, huge cylinders on legs. They steady the thing. Spider's legs, weighing hundreds of tons, driving into the earth. Drum, drum, drum.
More coffee?
You got whiskey?
I don't know. I'll check.
But it moves fast. Hearing it won't help. That's why you need the tape machine of yours.
How will it help?
I'll tell you. The energy field. The wheel throws off an energy field that makes white noise on radios. Ought to work on a tape machine. First, there's just a little. But as it gets closer, the white noise increases.
But what does it sound like?
White noise? Hard to describe. It's like falling water. No, it's more like surf. Like waves hissing on the shore. Like waves. Gotta go now. Can you spare some food?
Of course. But go where?
That way. That way.
Oh, no. Stay with us.
Yes, stay here.
You got a baby in your belly. And a little lad back there. And this big fella's got you. I haven't got anything. Except my ocean. And I haven't got much time to find it. Better turn off your tape. You're wasting energy.
I wonder if he found it. I wonder if he found his ocean.
Well, this is the seventh, I guess the seventh recording. I'm very tired, and I'll make it short. About 2 sleep periods since the scientist tape. Evie's very edgy. Nightmares. Glow winds in her brain, as she says, and now they're giving her violent headaches. I pray to whatever gods there are that she's not sick. We have no real medicine left, some aspirin and antibiotics that are dangerously old. She dreams there's something beyond the horizon. I mean, should we run again? To where? And how do we run with you children? Well, enough for now. I'm very tired.
If you'd only just listened, we'd have heard it hours ago. Oh, God. Topsie, she's okay, darling. Oh, Owen, stop it!
The white noise is on the tape. The damn surf. You must have heard it, Evie, and your dreams.
Lazarus, help me! Help me! We have to run! To hide!
How close is it? How close? Listen. Owen! Topsie, shut up! Evie, come here. Listen.
Oh, Topsie. Owen, God, we've betrayed you.
I can't hear it. I can't hear anything. Maybe we have time. It's far away.
Listen to me. I hear it. I see it. Just a pencil line on the orange horizon. A little black line. We must have time. We must have time.
Oh, my God. My God. It's grown by half already. It's huge. It's not a wheel. It is a spider. A great black spider with a web that...
Get away from the door. We have to go below. We'll hide. Topsie, Owen, come. Lazarus, you take Owen.
Effie, its eyes. Its eyes on our side, they're dim.
Come on.
Effie, let go. Maybe they did damage it. The eyes.
Do you have all your things, Owen? Come on, Topsie. It's okay, don't cry.
The wheel's gone. It rolled on its insane way to the distant horizon. It missed us children, our little family. We're going to follow the scientists and go in search of the distant sea and the future. Our future. I make this last recording for that future, so we can remember what happened in this brief, happy home. We can't carry this tape machine. It's too heavy. And when or if we'll find a way to power it, well, who knows. But we'll take the tapes for the future. For you two. The wheel is damaged. God willing, it's dying. On one side, the side that passed us, the eyes are dim. Not dead, but dim. And in those insane, howling moments of its passing, I could feel them searching for our lives. On its left, the eyes are deadly, bright, and alive, and it was to that side that the wheel directed its deadly force. The garden is dead and gray, perfectly preserved in dust. The grass, the carrots, the flowers. and sitting alert and erect, with their paws crossed for eternity on their chests, a family of little squirrels who drew the wheel's fire. The power's running out.
It's time to go.
Oh, the needles are moving, Owen. I think you got it to work this time. That really made them bounce around. Let's see if there's anything on the tape. Really made them bounce around. Let's see if there's anything. My name is Topsie. I am your mother. Your Uncle Owen and I have just crossed the desert of glass. It took us